Welcome back, blade fans. This old sword with you, and today we have a new TwoSun review, the TS381, and unfortunately I don't know of any nicknames for this one. Seems like every time I say that somebody says, well, yeah, it's called this, as if I should know. But unless it's posted in any official literature, whether on eBay or White Mountain Knives, where this one came from, I'm not going to know. So I do prevail upon my viewers to fill me in on anything that I don't know or I'm not familiar with. So this is a Tepe design in collaboration with Night Morning. And you can see that we have that very nice double-winged Tepe design logo on the right side of the blade. It's completely blacked out. And speaking of blacked out, let's back out. With a titanium handle, titanium clip, and an M390 blade steel. So nice crowned spine. I would say it sort of falls into the classification of being a gentleman's knife, a medium size knife that is not too small. Got a little left over in my medium large hand. Got a useful choke up blade choil. No jimping. Kind of like some gentlemen's knives, they are devoid of any rough or sharp edges. This is completely smooth, bordering on slippery. It has kind of a tumbled sort of finish on both the blade and somewhat on the handle, even though you're seeing some shine there. It is not polished. And some of the edges come through kind of like that worn look on purpose. Have a lanyard hole and a opening hole which I've been unsuccessful to open with my thumb because I'm probably pressing on the lock bar of the frame lock. But I have been able to middle finger flick it. And of course my fingers followed through that time and almost sliced them. I'll put it this way. There we go. In front of the camera it's a little more challenging than having it a little closer to the body, but I'm reaching around the camera. So excuse me on that one. The flipper tab is hooked forward. It's ahead of the pivot, which is a good location for it. But if you naturally put your finger on top of it, although it is not sharp, it's rounded over, it still has a profile that kind of jabs into your finger. So if you come forward of it and pull back, you have no problems. If you're trying to push button it, it's not going to feel too comfortable. And the detent is pretty strong. Not impossible, but good amount of pressure there. I don't rate detents, but if on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd call that probably somewhere in the 6 to 6.5 to maybe 7. But again, if you light switch it and more or less attack it, there really is no problem. You can always lighten detents by disassembling the knife, taking out the lock bar limiter, and bending the lock bar a little bit if you want to go to that trouble. For me, it's really not so hard that it's bothersome to me. So let's take some measurements on the TS381 Tepe design and Night Morning. Overall length, close enough to 8 inches to call it 8. 3.5 exactly for the blade, and slightly less because of the choil on the edge. As far as thicknesses go, See what we're set up for here. Okay, let's do the blade first in millimeters. Wow, that's surprising. Doesn't look like it. Let's try it again. But we got 4mm blade stock. It didn't look that thick. How about the handle in inches? 0.44. So we got a relatively slim handle and a very stout blade, and you can't see that because you don't have that shoulder on this crowned blade spine to kind of give you an indication of the thickness. Interesting. They hold the, I can get a focus here, black on black. They hold the sharpness, the edge thickness, there it goes, pretty well. It does taper quickly within about a ½ inch of the point. Finally, let's get a weight on this guy. And we have a weight of 3.5 ounces, 3.524. Very nice. So 3.5-inch blade coming in at about 3.5 ounces. Hey, ounce per inch, there you go. Magic formula. Now, this of course is not Tepe's first design. He's designed many for TwoSun. Unfortunately, I don't have any left. I had a couple and traded them off. Shan Hassan, I believe, is the person behind Tepe Designs, has his own design company and his own knives being manufactured as well. And this is the Hornet 2. Certainly a much different breed than the TS381. Much larger. Also M390, but with a full carbon fiber handle with hidden inserts, or hidden frame rather, liners. I meant to say liners. And I've done a review on this, one of my favorites, really a class knife, a lot like the Thresher design on that spine of the blade. This one is a nice knife. The eye appeal is quite good. I'm not real big on all blacked out knives, but that was the only way this was being made. As far as I know, this has not come out in a lesser steel, as many TwoSun knives do. So this hasn't been made, as far as I know, in Sandvik or D2 or anything like that. This came out right away in M390. It's the first I've seen it, first I've heard of it. May have been out for a month or more as of today's date. We're at the very earliest part of November here. I will say that, as with all TwoSuns, this comes through with one heck of an edge. And breaking my my rules of late, I should say, let's try a paper cut. So drum roll for my paper cutting friends. Let's see what we got. Oh, like a laser. I guessed right. Didn't complete that cut. I'd say it was sharp. Now I'm left with a mess to clean up. Extra video time to clean up paper. Love it. Okay. So yes, it is a sharp knife and it will cut. It will cut, as Doug says. It seems as though Tepe Designs favors this kind of shape of handle, kind of almost like an old-fashioned pistol grip, or almost like a old-fashioned sword handle, maybe like an Indonesian sword handle. I don't know that it's my favorite blade shape ergonomically. There's not much here to force your hand to do one thing or the other, except that your little finger, being smaller, is forced to wrap around the larger height of the handle. But other than that, I find no real complaints. We do have a backspacer of titanium, held together by 2 screws and the pivot. Kind of neat. Clip on the other side, 1 screw, and it does appear to be inset into the handle because I detect absolutely no side-to-side slop. Speaking of that, excellent lockup. I had somebody tell me that recently in comments that frame locks were weaker than liner locks, and the only reason I can think that might be true is that the frame lock is exposed when you're holding it, whereas the liner lock is sort of inset with the handle covering over it. So other than that, I don't think, and this person was referencing some of Cold Steel's tests where they're beat the hell out of a knife. This probably isn't a knife you're going to go batoning and you're worried about the blade closing on you. And I like what one person did say, is that they treat every knife as though it could fold on their fingers. So, try not to exert any pressure on the spine if you can. If you really got to go doing that kind of stuff, then fixed blades are great, and there's smaller and larger fixed blades. But, all right, well, those comments are all asides. I think we have a very nice, sleek, mid-sized gentleman's folder here in quality materials at a price point of, I think, somewhere on White Mountain Knives, and as of early November, there's still 1 or 2 of these, I think, left. I don't know how popular they've been on White Mountain Knives. So if you use the 10% off discount code Old Sword, then you can get 10% off. I think that's a pretty good thing. So you can try there, you can try eBay, what have you. eBay's a wait, eBay's kind of a gamble. See what price you get. You could get a lower price. But you should be able to pull this in for about 145, 150 bucks if you like what you're seeing here. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe. This Old Sword, signing out.